Subtle signs that someone is jealous of you, even if they don't admit it. Jealousy is one of those emotions people rarely admit to, yet it shows up in subtle, almost invisible ways. Sometimes it's not about what people say, it's about what they don't say, what they withhold, and how their energy shifts around you. According to Evy Poumpouras, understanding human behavior begins with paying attention to those small cues that reveal what's really going on beneath the surface. One of the first signs that someone may secretly be jealous of you is through backhanded compliments. They'll say things like, "You're lucky things work out for you," or, "That outfit is bold, I could never pull that off." The words might sound kind, but the tone carries a sting. It's praise wrapped in a layer of resentment. It's their way of expressing envy, while pretending to be supportive. These comments are rarely about you. They're about how your success makes them feel about themselves. Another subtle sign of jealousy is when someone constantly downplays your achievements. Instead of celebrating your wins, they minimize them, saying things like, "It wasn't that hard," or "Anyone could do that." They can't give genuine recognition because your progress threatens their own sense of worth. Evy Poumpouras often reminds people that emotionally mature individuals uplift others, while insecure ones compete quietly. When someone refuses to acknowledge your growth, it's a reflection of their insecurity, not your value. Then there's the imitation without credit, one of the clearest, yet most understated forms of envy. A jealous person will start copying the way you dress, talk, or even the ideas you share, but they'll never admit you inspired them. This isn't harmless mimicry. It's their attempt to absorb your confidence, your identity, your aura, while pretending it's their own. Evy notes that people often imitate what they admire, but can't openly compliment. They want what you have, but their pride won't let them give you credit for it. Another powerful indicator is when they choose to show up. Notice how some people disappear when you're winning, but reappear when you're struggling. When you achieve something great, they go silent, no congratulations, no enthusiasm. But the moment life challenges you, they're right there, suddenly supportive. Why? Because your success threatens them, but your setbacks make them feel comfortable again. Evy Poumpouras teaches that genuine friends celebrate your highs and stand by your lows. Jealous people only feel safe when you're not shining too brightly. Finally, jealousy is most visible not in words but in energy and body language. A jealous person's smile doesn't reach their eyes. Their posture tightens when you talk about something good happening in your life. They'll change the topic, interrupt, or give short responses, all small cues that betray their discomfort. Evy, with her deep background in behavioral analysis, often explains that the body never lies. When someone's energy shifts every time you speak about your success, pay attention. It's not coincidence. It's emotion leaking through control. The truth is, jealousy isn't always loud. It's quiet. It's in the silence after your good news, in the fake laugh at your win, and in the little ways people compete without saying they are. The best way to deal with it isn't confrontation, but awareness. Recognize it, protect your energy, and keep shining. Because as Evy Poumpouras says, your light will always expose both admiration and insecurity in others. The key is to never dim it. Jealousy is one of the most disguised emotions in human nature. It hides behind smiles, compliments, and polite gestures. Yet its presence can be felt if you know where to look. According to Evy Poumpouras, a former Secret Service agent and expert in human behavior, jealousy is rarely expressed openly. Instead, it leaks through tone, timing, and energy. When someone feels threatened by your growth, confidence, or success, they often won't attack you directly. They'll do it subtly, through small actions, passive comments, or emotional withdrawal. Recognizing these hidden signs helps you protect your peace and maintain emotional boundaries without getting pulled into someone else's insecurity. One of the clearest signs of hidden jealousy is the backhanded compliment. A jealous person might say something like, "You're lucky you can pull that off," or "You did great. Better than I expected." These statements sound like praise, but they're designed to make you question yourself. The intention isn't to uplift you, but to balance the power dynamic they feel threatened by. Evy Poumpouras emphasizes that tone and delivery reveal more truth than the words themselves. When compliments consistently carry an undercurrent of sarcasm or doubt, it's often envy disguised as humor or honesty. Another subtle indicator is when someone downplays or dismisses your achievements. Instead of showing genuine happiness, they might brush off your accomplishments with comments like, "It's not a big deal," or "Anyone could have done that." This isn't just negativity. It's a defense mechanism. People who struggle with self-esteem often find it difficult to celebrate others because it reminds them of what they haven't achieved. Evie often teaches that emotionally mature individuals can applaud others without feeling diminished. When someone constantly minimizes your success, it's not about your worth, it's about their internal comparison. Then comes the copycat behavior, a subtle yet revealing form of admiration mixed with insecurity. Jealous individuals may start to imitate your style, your habits, or even your creative ideas, but they'll never acknowledge where their inspiration came from. It's as if they want your glow, but they can't bring themselves to give you credit for it. Evy Poumpouras points out that imitation is often the sincerest form of flattery, but when it's paired with denial or competitiveness, it becomes a symptom of jealousy. The person admires you but also resents the fact that they're not the source of originality. Another powerful, but often overlooked sign is selective presence. They vanish during your highs and reappear during your lows. When you're thriving, they go silent, distant, or suddenly busy. But when life gets tough, they're back, acting sympathetic and supportive. Why? Because your struggles make them feel better about themselves. It restores the balance they subconsciously crave. Evie emphasizes that emotional intelligence means noticing patterns in how people respond to your different seasons. Who truly celebrates your wins and who only feels comfortable when you're not shining too bright. Lastly, body language never lies. Even when someone tries to hide their jealousy with words, their nonverbal cues give them away. Watch their facial expressions when you share good news. Does their smile reach their eyes? Do they cross their arms, look away, or change the subject? These small reactions reveal inner discomfort. Evy Poumpouras, with her years of reading micro-expressions, explains that emotions always leak through the body. No matter how controlled a person appears, jealous energy feels tense, inconsistent, and unaligned with the words being spoken. The truth is, jealousy isn't always loud or confrontational. It's quiet, polished, and often socially acceptable. It lives in silence, sarcasm, and subtle competition. But once you learn to recognize it, you stop taking it personally. Evy Poumpouras teaches that awareness is protection. You don't need to expose jealous people or argue with them. Just observe, maintain your confidence, and keep your energy guarded. Because your light will always trigger both admiration and insecurity in others. And your greatest strength lies in shining anyway. Jealousy is one of the most draining and toxic emotions you can encounter in others. And sometimes, it hides behind a smile, a friendly voice, or even fake support. According to Evy Poumpouras, a behavioral expert and former Secret Service agent, the key to maintaining inner peace isn't in confronting jealousy, but in understanding and managing it wisely. You can't control how others feel about you, but you can control how you respond. The goal isn't to fight jealous people. It's to protect your energy, maintain your boundaries, and rise above their insecurities. When you know how to deal with jealousy maturely, you keep your power and prevent their negativity from disturbing your peace. The first step is recognition without reaction. Many people feel compelled to call out jealousy when they see it, to defend themselves, prove their worth, or demand honesty. But as Evy Poumpouras teaches, emotionally intelligent people don't need to prove anything. When someone's behavior turns passive, aggressive, sarcastic, or dismissive of your success, recognize it for what it is, insecurity, not truth. Don't try to convince them otherwise. The moment you react emotionally, you hand them power. Silence and composure are stronger responses than any argument because they communicate self-assurance. Next, it's essential to maintain emotional boundaries. Jealous people thrive on comparison and emotional chaos. They want you to question yourself, compete with them, or feel guilty for your success. But boundaries protect your peace. Don't overshare your wins with people who can't genuinely celebrate them. Evie emphasizes that not everyone deserves access to your personal life or your progress. Share selectively. Observe who responds with enthusiasm versus who goes silent. Your peace is preserved not by isolation, but by discernment, knowing who belongs in your inner circle and who doesn't. Another powerful strategy is responding with calm confidence instead of confrontation. When someone throws a backhanded compliment or subtly undermines you, don't take the bait. A calm smile, a polite thank you, or even a graceful exit from the conversation shows that you're emotionally grounded. Evy Poumpouras reminds us that emotional control is a form of power. It unsettles those who rely on reactions to feel in control. When you refuse to match their negativity, they lose their influence. Your composure becomes your armor. It's also important to avoid mirroring jealousy with pride or ego. When someone feels threatened by your light, your instinct might be to dim it to make them comfortable, or, conversely, to flaunt it even more. Both reactions give jealousy power. The best approach is balance. Continue to be confident and kind without shrinking or boasting. Evy teaches that authentic confidence doesn't need validation. It speaks quietly through consistency, not competition. Keep shining, not to prove anything, but because dimming your light won't make others see better. It'll only make your world darker. Lastly, choose empathy, not enmity. While it's easy to label jealous people as toxic, Evy Poumpouras often reminds us that jealousy comes from pain, from people feeling unseen, insecure, or left behind. This doesn't mean you tolerate their behavior, but understanding their mindset helps you detach emotionally. You stop taking it personally. When you respond with empathy instead of anger, you keep your peace intact. You're not excusing their behavior. You're simply refusing to let it poison your mindset. At the end of the day, jealousy says more about the other person's inner world than it does about yours. You don't have to fix them, fight them, or prove your worth. Your only job is to stay focused on your path, guard your energy, and protect your peace. As Evy Poumpouras wisely puts it, strength isn't in being unaffected. It's in being aware yet unshaken. So keep rising, keep shining, and let your calm confidence do the talking. Because when your energy is unbothered, your success becomes unstoppable. Jealousy isn't just a simple emotion. It's a deep psychological reaction rooted in fear, insecurity, and comparison. According to Evy Poumpouras, who spent years analyzing human behavior and emotional patterns, jealousy reveals more about a person's internal state than their external actions. It's not really about you. It's about how someone feels when they see you thriving. Jealousy surfaces when people believe your success highlights their failures, your confidence reminds them of their self-doubt, or your peace exposes their inner chaos. Understanding the psychology behind jealousy helps you see it not as a personal attack, but as a mirror reflecting the insecurities of others. At its core, jealousy is a fear of inadequacy. When someone feels jealous, they're subconsciously telling themselves, if you have something good, there's less left for me. It's a scarcity mindset, the belief that success, love, or happiness are limited resources. Evy Poumpouras explains that emotionally secure people operate from abundance. They believe that someone else's win doesn't threaten their own. But insecure people see every success around them as a silent reminder of what they haven't achieved. That's why their first reaction isn't admiration, it's discomfort. They measure their worth through comparison, and your achievements unintentionally activate their deepest fears of being less than. Another psychological layer of jealousy comes from identity threat. People build their self-image around what they believe they're good at. Their looks, talent, intelligence, or achievements. When someone comes along who excels in the same area, it shakes their self-perception. They start to question their own value. Evy Poumpouras often discusses how fragile egos react defensively to protect themselves from that emotional discomfort. Instead of learning or being inspired, they criticize, gossip, or withdraw. Their jealousy is a shield, an emotional barrier that keeps them from facing their own insecurities. Jealousy can also be fueled by comparison addiction, something that has become even more intense in today's digital world. Social media has made it easy for people to measure their lives against others, often comparing their behind-the-scenes struggles to someone else's highlight reel. Evy points out that constant exposure to others' success stories triggers envy, especially in people who are already insecure or dissatisfied. They begin to equate visibility with worth, thinking that if someone else is seen, loved, or praised, it means there's less attention left for them. This mental distortion feeds jealousy like fuel to a fire. There's also the power dynamic of admiration turning into resentment. Sometimes, jealousy begins as genuine admiration. Someone looks up to you, is inspired by your strength, and feels motivated by your journey. But when they start to feel they can't reach your level, that admiration can twist into envy. Instead of celebrating you, they begin to secretly wish for your downfall. Evy Poumpouras calls this the emotional flip, when admiration becomes comparison, and comparison becomes bitterness. It's not that they hate you, they hate the way your success makes them feel about themselves. Lastly, jealousy often comes from unresolved self-esteem issues. People who haven't learned to find validation within themselves will always seek it from outside sources. When they see someone who radiates confidence, authenticity, or peace, it reminds them of what they lack internally. Evie emphasizes that jealousy is a mirror emotion. It doesn't reflect the person being envied, but the person doing the envying. The jealousy they project onto you is really a reflection of their unhealed insecurities, and the more secure and confident you become, the more you might unintentionally trigger those feelings in others. Understanding the psychology behind jealousy gives you freedom, the freedom not to take it personally. When someone acts distant, critical, or competitive, remind yourself this isn't about me, it's about what I represent to them. As Evy Poumpouras teaches, awareness is your greatest strength. You don't fight jealousy with ego, anger, or defensiveness. You fight it with calm understanding and emotional maturity. The more you stay grounded, the less their insecurity can reach you. Remember, your light doesn't create their shadow, it only reveals it, so keep shining, keep growing, and let their jealousy be proof that you're doing something worth noticing. Confidence is one of the most magnetic and misunderstood traits a person can have. When you carry yourself with quiet assurance, self-respect, and calm strength, it often makes others feel inspired. But for some, it also triggers jealousy. Evy Poumpouras, an expert in human behavior and emotional intelligence, teaches that confidence often exposes insecurity in others. People who haven't yet found their own inner stability can perceive your self-assurance as arrogance, even when it's not. That's why staying confident in the face of jealousy isn't about proving yourself or defending your worth. It's about maintaining control over your own energy and refusing to let anyone's insecurity shake your inner peace. The first key to staying confident around jealousy is understanding that it's not about you. When people project envy, it's rarely personal. It's a reflection of how they feel about themselves when they're near you. Evy Poumpouras often says that emotionally intelligent individuals can separate other people's emotions from their own reality. Someone's jealousy doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. It means your growth is highlighting where they feel stagnant. Instead of shrinking to make them comfortable, keep standing tall. Their reaction says more about their unhealed insecurities than your success. Another powerful mindset is to let your confidence be quiet but firm. True confidence doesn't need to shout or seek validation. It doesn't compete or explain. It simply exists. Evie emphasizes that confident people walk in purpose, not performance. When someone's jealousy tries to provoke you, through criticism, gossip, or cold energy, resist the urge to respond defensively. Arguing or over-explaining gives them control over your emotions. Instead, practice calm detachment. Your composure communicates louder than any words ever could. Confidence is often expressed through silence, steady eye contact, and the ability to remain grounded no matter what others say. It's also important to protect your self-image from emotional contamination. Jealous people might subtly try to make you doubt yourself through backhanded compliments, judgmental comments, or comparisons meant to bring you down. Evy Poumpouras teaches that protecting your mental space is a form of self-defense. Don't internalize their projections. When someone tries to make you feel small, remember, they're not attacking your truth, they're attacking their own reflection in you. Their discomfort with your confidence doesn't mean you should lower your standards or soften your presence. It means your authenticity is challenging their insecurities. Another strategy is to stay focused on your mission, not the noise. Jealousy thrives on attention. It wants a reaction, a validation that it matters. But when you stay focused on your purpose, you starve it. Evie often reminds people that confidence grows from clarity, knowing who you are and why you're doing what you do. When you have direction, external opinions lose power. Instead of getting distracted by envy or negativity, use it as confirmation that you're on the right path. The truth is, people rarely envy mediocrity, they envy movement. If others are jealous, it's because you're doing something that stands out. Lastly, remain kind. But don't overextend. Confidence isn't cruelty, and grace isn't weakness. Evy Poumpouras encourages responding to jealousy with empathy, not to excuse it, but to keep your heart clean. When you choose kindness, you protect your peace. However, kindness doesn't mean tolerance. You can wish people well while maintaining boundaries. You can be polite without being accessible. Learn to distance yourself quietly from people who drain your spirit or turn your success into a competition. You owe no one your energy, especially those who misuse it. In the end, staying confident when others are jealous of you is about emotional mastery. It's choosing peace over proving, self-respect over reaction, and grace over ego. As Evy Poumpouras wisely says, power is calm. Real strength doesn't come from controlling others. It comes from controlling yourself. So the next time someone's jealousy tries to dim your light, smile and keep shining. Because confidence isn't about being better than others. It's about being secure in who you are, even when others aren't secure around you. One of the most deceptive behaviors in human relationships is fake support. When someone acts happy for you on the surface, but secretly resents your progress underneath. Evy Poumpouras, a renowned expert in human behavior and emotional intelligence, often explains that jealousy doesn't always appear as hostility. In fact, the most dangerous form of envy hides behind politeness, smiles, and empty congratulations. These individuals know that being openly jealous exposes their insecurity, so instead, they play the role of a supporter, nodding, clapping, and pretending to care, while quietly competing, criticizing, or wishing for your failure behind closed doors. Understanding why jealous people do this helps you protect your peace, your energy, and your focus. The first reason jealous people pretend to support you is social image. In most environments, whether at work, in friendships, or within family circles, people don't want to look like the bad person. Open jealousy is unattractive, so instead, they disguise it with superficial praise. They'll say, "I'm so happy for you," but their tone is flat or their enthusiasm forced. Evy Poumpouras points out that human beings are masters at managing impressions. We care about how we appear more than how we feel. So when envy arises, instead of confronting it, people cover it up with fake positivity. It allows them to maintain their reputation while still protecting their fragile ego. Another reason is proximity to success. Jealous individuals often want to stay close to you, not out of love or loyalty, but because being around you gives them access to your energy, ideas, and progress. Evy explains that some people cling to those they envy because it makes them feel relevant, as if being near success somehow makes them part of it. They'll flatter you just enough to stay in your circle, but deep down, their admiration is mixed with resentment. They want your light, but they don't want you to shine brighter than them. Their support isn't genuine encouragement. It's strategic positioning. The third psychological reason behind fake support is comparison anxiety. Jealous people live in constant comparison. They measure their worth through others' achievements, and when they see you doing well, it triggers feelings of inadequacy. But instead of admitting, "I'm insecure," they act the opposite, overly complimentary, overly supportive, because it hides their discomfort. Evy Poumpouras often says that human behavior is full of contradictions. People pretend to feel what they wish they could genuinely feel. A jealous person might say all the right words, but their energy betrays them. The lack of eye contact, the delayed response, or the subtle tension when you talk about your success all reveal what they're truly feeling. Fake supporters also exist because of hidden competition. They want to monitor your progress, learn your strategies, and find ways to outdo you. Their presence is not about celebrating you. It's about collecting information. Evy teaches that emotional awareness helps you detect these subtle power dynamics. If someone only praises you publicly but undermines you privately, or supports you when you're below them but grows distant when you rise, that's not friendship. That's rivalry disguised as loyalty. They pretend to cheer you on because pretending gives them access to what you're doing, while secretly hoping you'll slip. Lastly, jealous people pretend to support you because your success challenges their identity. They want to see themselves as kind, supportive, and confident, but your growth forces them to confront feelings they'd rather deny. Pretending to be supportive helps them maintain their self-image. Evy Poumpouras reminds us that everyone wants to believe they're a good person, even when their emotions don't align with that image, so they perform empathy instead of practicing it. They smile to avoid facing their own envy. The key lesson here is awareness without bitterness. Don't waste energy exposing fake supporters. Their actions will always reveal them in time. As Evy says, you can't control other people's integrity, but you can control your access. Protect your space. Pay attention to consistency, not what people say, but what they repeat through actions. True support feels light, warm, and stable. Fake support feels tight, inconsistent, and draining. Once you recognize the difference, you stop expecting authenticity from everyone and start surrounding yourself with those who genuinely celebrate your success. Remember, your goal is not to prove your worth, it's to guard your peace. Because in a world where envy wears a friendly face, awareness is your greatest protection.